Good morning, Dad. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different, and that is to do an apartment tour. So I got the idea to do an apartment tour because I noticed that my day in the life video was one of our better received videos, and I don't know why that is, but one of my favorite things of the video is you get to see a little bit of my place. And I think one of the interesting things about my place is that it's a historic building. It's over a century-year old. In fact, I think Teddy Roosevelt was president when this place was constructed. So that's kind of interesting. I like to think about stuff like that. So we'll just kind of walk around and I'll kind of show you. It's nothing like spectacularly interesting, but it's just different than your average 2-bedroom apartment. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. I figure since we are here in the living room, we could just start with the living room. So my living room is pretty interesting. Here, I'll just step back a little bit. It's pretty interesting because it's kind of divided by this weird boxy arch into 2 different sections. So this section, I kind of have my TV entertainment center, some recliners, and just another chair. I like to call this like my reading chair or my study because it also has my bookshelf next to it. So you can kind of see what I read typically. A lot of comic books and fiction stuff. I mean, I do have nonfiction stuff, but mostly fiction, I would say. Back to the tour. Here's the cat that you were mentioning when I was there in Vegas with you. Yam's favorite cat. So you kind of notice this is actually like one of my sets in some of my videos. So I actually just moved this picture to this other peg because you wouldn't be able to see that in frame while I'm sitting down. And then as you notice, like my furniture is kind of mismatched, because it's just hand-me-down stuff that I got from my mom, and she got a hand-me-down from her friends, and I think this was my grandpa Jim's recliner. So, some of the furniture I've bought, like this entertainment center, and this TV, coffee tables, and this futon, and I just got this futon from my grandma, which my grandma gave it to my mom, and then now I have it. But I like this futon because it also has storage underneath for my blankets, or not necessarily my blankets. I keep it here for guests, which if I didn't have guests often, which the guests I have the most are my 2 brothers. So I just like to have like blankets and the 2 futons for them to sleep on. It's kind of excessive because having that much furniture takes up a lot of space in a smaller apartment. So it's like I could better utilize that space, but it's also just really nice to have room for my brothers to hang out and stay. So the futons will probably stay until I have more space and better stuff. But continuing on, like I said, it's just really interesting because it's split in 2. And I will say that this apartment, and I think the one next to me, is unique in the fact that all of the other apartments above us are different. So typically this side of the apartment and the other apartments in the building is actually the kitchen. So instead of this wall being this wall and there being a door there would be a refrigerator there, and then like the sink and stuff there. And then that would be the hallway. But that's not my hall. I mean, it is a hallway, but I have like a hallway kitchen. So we'll go over there in a second. Let me finish showing you stuff over here. So another thing that's interesting about this apartment building is the heating system is all steam with radiant heat. So yeah, it's kind of steampunky. I think it's kind of cool. So, I open the heat there and then it just heats up this whole thing. I was really worried that initially the heat wouldn't be enough to fill this whole apartment because it's like old and I didn't know how well that stuff works. but it almost works too well. Like sometimes it gets really hot, like throughout the whole apartment, because, you know, like the pipes just run throughout all of the walls, and then, you know, plus these on. So a lot of times I just actually close the radiators off, so that way it's just the pipes themselves heating the apartment. And sometimes that's enough, like even in the dead of winter. So radiant heat is awesome, and I actually prefer it now, because I don't know about you, but like when you have like the normal heating system that like blows the air, like that always like dries my eyes out and makes me tired and stuff. As where this is it's just warm, like just heat emerges. Like there's no blowing, there's no filters you have to change. It's just suddenly it's warm inside. So I think that's really cool. I prefer them, even though they're kind of hideous. I'm sure you could probably buy modern ones that are a little bit nicer, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, right? The downside to living in a century-old building, however, is there was no AC built in, right? In fact, like all of my walls, here I can kind of show you. All of the walls are like concrete mostly. So you wouldn't even be able to like fit like an air duct system in this building unless you completely gutted it and remodeled everything. So that being said, we have this beautiful thing. It's a Black & Decker AC bot. I don't know if that's a technical name. I just like to call it a bot because it kind of looks like a robot. And the hose just goes straight out to the window. When we first moved in, we had one of those like window units that you put in, but it was really heavy and it was kind of a pain in the butt to like change all the time. As where this, you just stick the hose out, and it does a pretty good job at cooling the apartment down. And I really like it because, you know, it has like a bunch of different settings. Like I can even put it on to dehumidifier mode, which is actually really good in the spring because sometimes in the spring when it rains and stuff, it can get pretty humid in this apartment, even though it's Salt Lake City and it's typically pretty dry. For whatever reason, this specific unit gets pretty humid. So even turning on that dehumidifier aspect is really nice to have. And then this desk next to the futon, you might recognize, and that is your desk from when you were a kid. I still have it. It's held up. It's a great desk. I pretty much just use it for storage nowadays and to rest this bad boy on. This thing's really heavy. I think it's like 60 pounds. So, you know, having a nice wood table is good. Because like, oh, this is good to mention too. My windows are like really high. Like, I swear they're like 5 feet tall. You know, if not like 4.5 foot. So I can't necessarily put that on the ground like they recommend, you know, because the hose just wouldn't fit. Like there's not enough hose to go out the window. So I actually have to put my AC unit on something. And also there is the bike that you gave me, which is kind of hard to get out, but I don't have much room to put it anywhere else. So that's where it resides. That's my office chair that I used to use as my office chair, but now it's just kind of like the chair next to the shoe station, so you can sit down and tie your shoes and stuff. Anyway, another thing that's cool about the front door is you got like these nice windows that kind of just create some like ambient light. It's really cool right now as you can kind of see, like it has like a blue effect. And typically when the sun rises a little bit more, when it starts peeking up over the mountains, just this bright orange glow shoots in and fills the whole apartment. It's a really cool effect. It's one of my favorite parts about living in this apartment is just the aspect of the sun rays coming in and being scattered by the window. That is Uncle Nick's room. We won't go in there. Don't want to bother him. Here's a coat rack that I installed. This wasn't here when we moved in, but it's really handy to have. So, yep. And of course the Beatles. And as you'll see later, so I kind of have like all my cleaning stuff out here. Well, at least, you know, like the vacuum and the mop and broom. And my scooter that you helped me get for Christmas. And these are shopping bags, so we don't waste plastic bags at the store. And it's close to the door, so you can just grab those on your way out. But these are here because, as you know, probably from my previous video, or I've talked to you before about it, our closet has turned into a little recording studio. And that being said, we'll go to the recording studio next. So the recording studio is it's both a recording studio because I have like the audio foam and stuff in there, but it's also basically just become my teeny tiny office. It's a very small walk-in closet, and it's the only like closet in the whole house, so I kind of feel bad for just commandeering it. But basically we just had storage in there anyway. We weren't really using it for anything else. You know, we just had like vacuum and Swiffers in there. So they just moved out and we cleaned it up, and now it's a little office. So I have two 27-inch monitors in here, right here, and they are mounted on the shelf. And it's really nice because I also have this stand-up desk that I bought. And the stand-up desk you can move up and down from a sitting desk to a stand-up desk. And my monitors you can also move up and down with these arms. So it's really nice. So I can kind of transition from standing to sitting pretty efficiently. And which is really nice because I'm on the computer a lot. I do a lot of video work, editing work, and being able to stand and sit simultaneously, well, offset, you know, stand up, sit down, is a much better like working flow than just sitting down for like 8+ hours a day. You know, like that's not good for you. But I also don't like just standing for 8 hours a day. So being able to kind of mix it up is really nice. And as you can see again, there's the foam on the walls, and I have a bunch of like game system boxes. So I know you're not particularly interested in that stuff, but it's there anyway. Here, I can kind of show you some of the lighting. So this is just the normal closet light, and that is the main light that I bounce off the walls to kind of create like a very soft light throughout the whole room. And then this ring light lights my face, which is really nice. And let's see here. Oh, got some game systems there. And then, oh, here's the remote. So then I got like 3 backlights that I kind of have flagged. Flagging means that I've cut some of the light in half, because then it would just like, there'd be too much light spilling out everywhere. And then I could just use this remote and turn them individually on. And I don't know why it's blue. Typically I have it on white. But yeah, so I got 3 of them. I got one on the floor to kind of fill in the empty spaces between these two. Oh, and that one's red. So yeah, that creates a really nice effect and kind of lights everything up pretty nicely. And again, you've seen this room already in a few of the videos I've made. I try not to come in here for the Mike and Troy videos too much, just because it doesn't feel as organic. You know, it's very, I mean, it's not a sterile room, but it feels more like businessy or techy, you know, and in the Mike and Troy videos, I want to feel more organic. So that's why I kind of moved my little video set out here with the bookshelf and stuff. I just feel that kind of fits our style a little bit more. But either way, I don't know. I like the office. Also, I have the office chair I have in here is like a drafting chair. So it could sit pretty tall. Even if I wanted to keep the desk in a standing position, I could just move my chair up higher. And then there's my keyboard and wireless mouse. Oh, and there's 2 microphones in here currently. This one is for work because I've been working from home. So they sent me home with this so I can do audio work for tutorials or whatever type stuff might come through. And then this is my personal microphone. So I kind of switch between the two depending on what I'm doing, because I don't particularly want to use work stuff for personal stuff. But they're both really nice mics. I mean, the one from work's a little bit nicer, so I'm kind of jealous. But it's also really expensive. Like, those mics are like $500. So I would like to have one, but probably not anytime soon. What else could I show you? Oh, this is kind of funny. So this was really hard to work out with, setting up the closet as an office / recording studio, because one thing you might know about closets, they don't typically have like wall outlets, right, for power. So I have all the power cables just running out to here, and then there's my my computer. My coworker Kenny makes fun of me for having a computer like this, because like if you turn it on, it lights up and stuff, and it's really big. Like it kind of goes up to like my knees, and I'm a tall person, so I mean that's probably like a 2 foot tall computer. So he always says that, you know, like like I could probably mount that computer and write it into the future, and I probably could. Yep, and then there's an area rug that my mom gave me. She was gonna throw it away, so like when I moved out of the house, she was just gonna toss it in the garbage because, like, I mean, it is kind of jacked up, right? Like it's old, and I don't know if you could see that, right? It's kind of falling apart. And Bob used to pee and poop on it, so it was really It was really dirty. So I spent a lot of time on my hands and knees and just pouring tons of carpet cleaning stuffs and scrubbing it to death for months. Like it took several sessions to get it to its current state, and even in its current state, it's not perfect, but it's workable and it doesn't stink or anything. But yeah, I mean, it still is falling apart. So one day I'll probably have to get a better area rug. All right, now we can move on to the kitchen. So, oh, you saw this in the day in life video. So this is my new AC bot. It's not an AC bot like the other one. This one's like a humidifier bot. So, you know, you pour water in it. So it's got a water tank, and then the water falls down here. And then when the air gets sucked in through the back, it blows out cold air, kind of like a swamp cooler. And obviously I can't utilize it when it's up against the wall. That's just its storage position right now. But yeah, moving on. So the kitchen is basically my hallway, and you could see one of the heat pipes kind of just running along, which is kind of funny. Yeah, so the kitchen's pretty small. There's not a whole lot of counter space, and there's obviously not a dishwasher in here. So we just got a drying rack, and me and Nick try our best to just, you know, once you use a dish, you just wash it right away. So we got the scrubber that fills up with soap, and then I have dish soap in here as well. So, you know, it's just easy. You just squirt it on your plate and you're cleaning away right away. And then I got a little water purifier thing right off the tap. And I also had to install this paper towel holder because there wasn't one in here, and I didn't want, you know, like paper towels right next to the sink or next to the, you know, flaming stove. This is a gas stove, and I didn't think, you know, you don't want your paper towels on fire or wet. So the best thing to do is to kind of put it up out of the way. So I had to put one of those in. And then there's actually plenty of cupboard space, surprisingly. I mean, it could be better, but you know, for the space, considering it's not too bad. And then we've utilized the fridge as kind of another counter space. So I got a water boiler and a microwave. Yeah, that's what they call them, right? And then this is our refrigerator. As you can see, I eat particularly healthy. Now, most of this is for coronavirus, actually. So, you know, like, I don't live in a house, so I can't like food prep like other people, you know, where you could just go buy cans and cans of food and just fill up an entire room full of stuff. So I was like, well, what's the best I could do? You know, so I'm like, let's just go buy a bunch of freezer food and just pack the freezer full of Hot Pockets and stuff, because those will last a while. Speaking of that, I do want to do a video eventually about like everything I eat in a day. I think that'd be kind of fun. So maybe I'll do that. Moving on. this door goes back to the laundry room / the back of the building. I don't want to go out there right now because I think someone's doing laundry. But it's actually kind of a spooky thing, so maybe I'll get some B-roll of the laundry room. There's one particular door that goes to the boiler room for the gas heating stuffs that is particularly spooky. It used to creep me out. It's pretty unsettling. But now that I've lived here for 3 years, it's not that bad. Another thing is I installed this just to kind of keep things off of the floor. So I got another, I have the Swiffer, but I also have a mop and normal broom. And here's a little fuzzy duster and fly swatter. So just extra storage, like when you live in a small place like this, like any way you can kind of manage your storage is the best. And then in the kitchen to the left is the bathroom. So this bathroom, so I have 2 mirrors in here. This is the mirror that came with the apartment. And if you open it up, it actually is like a window. So you can see the laundry room. And then that goes to the outside back garage area. And that's the spooky door that goes to the boiler room. So it's pretty weird that my bathroom is connected that way. And then the toilet. It's actually a really nice toilet. It's got to be newer for the building because I doubt this is original. It's nice and big, unlike your toilets. I have a bigger toilet than your house, which I still don't understand why. Then we got plenty of toilet paper. So we usually just go buy like a 24 pack or something and just fill this whole thing up like once a year, and that usually lasts us a year. And then just, normal amenities and whatnot. And then this mirror I installed because there wasn't a mirror here, but there's a sink there. And it felt really weird for me not to have a mirror while you're brushing your teeth or doing your hair or, shaving, because there's no mirror. There's just a toilet under this mirror. So yeah, I was like, no. We got to get a mirror. And then another thing that this bathroom didn't have is I didn't have a rack for your towel or your hand towel or your toothbrush. And obviously I don't have toothbrushes in here. They're over here. But that's because, watch this. I can't. They sell these. They sell these as toothpaste holder or toothbrush holders, right? But I cannot find a toothbrush that fits into it. It just doesn't work. But my shaver does. So go figure. Yeah. Okay, so something that else is interesting about this bathroom is, again, it's basically the same size as my kitchen. It's just a hallway within a hallway. But there's like a step up to over here. So that's kind of interesting. And then we just got a little garbage can in here. And then there's a stand-up shower. And as you can see, there's more of the heating pipes, like I was telling you. And again, all of these warm up and heat the house during the winter. And the shower's nothing specific. There's Nick's stuff and my stuff for cleaning your body. And this was a shower head that I had to install pretty much immediately when we first moved in. Oh, and there's weird shelves. It's a very weirdly constructed bathroom. And there's a box there. I don't know. It's pretty bizarre. But there's a story to that shower head. So when we first moved in, it was kind of I saw a crack on it, the part that screws in. And I was like, well, I want to get a new one anyway, but maybe it'll last for a little bit longer. And then I swear it was only a few days when we were first moved in here. Nick came in and took a shower, and I was out in the living room, and I just hear a big pop, and Nick just goes, ah! He's screaming, and so the shower head popped off, hit him, and then it was just like a flood of water, just without the shower head part, like it was just a stream of water, and there was like a water mess in here, but it was pretty funny, just because it didn't happen to me, I guess. But I feel bad for Nick for having to deal with that. Probably should have changed the shower head sooner, but live and learn, I suppose. I guess there's only one last thing to show you about the apartment, and that is my room. So, this is my room. Again, like you can kind of see that the windows are pretty tall. There's nothing particularly special. There's my dresser, headboard, and as you know, these are great grandma's headboards and dresser stuff. So I've kept them. One day I'd like to kind of refurbish them because they're kind of getting beat up a little bit, and I don't know if there's something I could do, but it'd be nice to. As you'll note, and it's the same with Nick's room, there is no closet. There's no closet in these rooms. It's just a very tiny, and as you can see, like my bed, check this out. My bed fits the room perfectly. Too perfectly in the fact that I can't walk around it. So if I want to get to my dresser, I have to climb over my bed to get to my dresser. Going back to the closet, I made my own closet. So that's an ironing board. And I just kind of opened it up a little bit. And now I just hang my clothes on its feet. So it kind of works like a little hanger area, which is pretty nice. Because, some of my shirts, like my button-ups and whatnot, I don't want to get wrinkled in the dresser. And then I got my Masquerade stuff, and, it's pretty simple. I keep a lot of my camera gear here and in my drawer, and there's my alarm clock and my phone. So I just grab all this stuff first thing in the morning, and then you're out the door. And there's a sword, obviously. And what's cool is I got a dimmer. Yeah, so even though this is an old apartment, you could tell they've refurbished it over the years. So there's a lot of amenities in here that wouldn't have been, I'm sure, 100+ years ago. So we're pretty fortunate. When we first moved in, a couple of things they did for me because I requested them and I was kind of complaining about it. One in particular was the windows. So I have brand new windows. Well, they're not brand new anymore. They're 3 years old, but the windows were crap. Dust was blowing in, and they were not sealed properly. They were just old. So I got them to change the windows and paint the walls. So the walls have a fresh coat of paint. And I think before we even were talking to them, I think we got new carpet too. So the carpet's pretty fresh. So we got pretty lucky for, living in a 100+ year old building. When we first moved in, we weren't too happy with the place. It took a lot of getting used to, but over time, I don't know, I guess I've just kind of gotten used to it. So I don't hate it as much as I used to. It definitely has its pros and cons. I really love living in this area in the sense that we don't need a car to get around. So there's 5 grocery stores within walking distance. Okay, so okay, so as you saw, my recording stopped out of nowhere because I think I hit my recording limit because this is not a video camera, it's just a camera. So there's the recording limits on there. Point is, it sucks because I was just about to say bye-bye. Anyway, yeah, so I think I was just saying something about there's pros and cons to living here, but overall it works out just fine, and we'll see when we move, which I would prefer sooner than later, but I also don't want to just move into another apartment. I'd prefer to move up in the ranks than horizontally or whatever. You get my drift. Point is, I think that's it for the apartment tour. I don't have anything else to show you because it's a tiny apartment. But thank you for watching and going along with me on this apartment tour. And I will see you next Monday. Love you, Dad. Hey, thanks for watching.
If you'd like to see more videos of me, click on the top right. If you want to see some videos of my dad, click on the top left. Click the like button if you liked the video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay connected. And clicking the bell icon will help YouTube keep you notified of our activities. Thanks for watching, hope to see you soon.